You're listening to the Public Health Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley. Ever wonder how some solo entrepreneurs seem to effortlessly juggle client work, business development, and actually having a life while you're stuck working 70-hour weeks? The difference between solopreneurs who scale successfully and those who burn out isn't talent or luck. It's knowing exactly which tasks to delegate first. Let's talk about 10 essential tasks to delegate to your first or next virtual assistant. Welcome to Public Health Entrepreneurs, the podcast for visionary leaders who are ready to transform public health and healthcare through innovation. I'm your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and as a public health entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience in healthcare and public health, I understand the unique challenges and opportunities that come with bridging multiple disciplines. If you are an interdisciplinary professional, a high-functioning leader with expertise across different fields, then you're in the right place. On this episode, I'd like to talk to you about 10 essential tasks to delegate to your first or next virtual assistant. As a solo entrepreneur, you're likely wearing every hat in your business, from CEO to customer service rep to bookkeeper. While this hands-on approach gives you control, it also creates a bottleneck that limits your growth potential. Your first virtual assistant can be a game changer, but only if you delegate the right tasks from the start. The key is choosing specific, well-defined activities that free up your time for strategic work while being straightforward enough to delegate successfully. Here are 10 concrete tasks that you can hand off to your virtual assistant immediately. Each is designed to give you measurable time savings and peace of mind. Now, I'm not expecting you to incorporate all 10 at once, but hoping you'll find a few that stand out to you as starting points as I go through this list. All right, so here are 10 specific actionable tasks you can delegate to your first or next virtual assistant almost immediately. All right, number 1, email inbox management. Have your virtual assistant check your email 2 to 3 times daily. Sort through messages or put them into folders. You can label these folders urgent, follow-up, or FYI, and then respond to routine inquiries using templates you provide. Your virtual assistant will be able to easily do that. Now, you may be listening and thinking, how are they going to know? But they do this all the time. So I will plug in here for an experienced virtual assistant is definitely the way to go. They can also flag only emails requiring your personal attention with brief summaries. So this can allow you to work with your virtual assistant to minimize some of the clutter and the overwhelm that can come with a very busy inbox. The second task is calendar coordination. Give your VA access to schedule meetings within your available time slots. Send calendar invitations with agenda items, reschedule conflicts, and block out focus time for your most important work. Number 3, social media posting. Provide your VA with 10 to 15 pieces of content. That could be posts, articles, images, etc. And have them schedule these across your platforms using any number of social media scheduling tools. There are a lot of really good tools out there. You can decide on which ones to use, but your VA can use a social media scheduling tool to schedule these posts on the platforms that your business is using. And engaging in comments using your brand voice guidelines. You can create guidelines around how you like for them to be able to engage in your voice and the tone for your business. A VA can easily do this for you. You can also incorporate steps, like I've talked about this on a previous episode. You can incorporate review steps so that they craft the posts and you can scan through them to review to make sure that they are sound and in your voice, and then they can then be free to post them. Now, a little watch out if you incorporate a review step is don't become the bottleneck in this process. Maybe this is good at the beginning just to ensure that you and your VA are on the same page. But this is where you have to trust and let go because they will likely do it way better than you can do it and get it out and it gets done. So a little bit of a watch out there, just that you don't insert yourself in and become a bottleneck and be overprotective of this process. A good VA is going to be looking for incorporating the brand voice of the business and making sure this is done well. Number 4, lead list building. Ask your VA to research and compile lists of, I'm going to say, 50 potential clients, but you can minimize that list to 10 to 15 potential clients, because in reality, how many clients do you actually need to be working with? And for some of you, 2 to 3 clients would max you out. So a list of 50 potential clients can feel overwhelming. If you can realistically only work with a handful of clients, 2 to 3 before you're maxed out, then a list of 10 to 15 potential feels real. On the other hand, if you're working with 20 to 25 clients and that feels like your sweet spot and that puts you at sort of your maximum capacity, then a list of 50 potential clients could feel just right. Whatever that number is, ask your VA to research and compile this list of potential clients every week using the LinkedIn Sales Navigator is one option, but that's a very expensive option. If you're not already using Sales Navigator, I don't expect you to go out and enroll in that tool. But they can simply use the LinkedIn platform to research these potential clients for you and compile and work on this list. Or it could be maybe you have a directory. Industry directories are a great resource for your VA to go through and to sift out potential clients to add to the list for you. In compiling this list, it could include contact information, company details, and notes about why they think that this is a good prospect. So this lead list building is an excellent task for you to hand over to your VA. So number 5, invoice creation and follow-up. Have your VA create invoices using a template within, say, 24 hours of completed work, or whatever timeline you decide that the invoice needs to go out. They can send them via email and follow up on these invoices that are 7, 14, and 30 days past due. I really hope you're not sitting on invoices that fall that far past due, and really encourage you to use a process that will have you getting paid for work much earlier than just upon completion or that far out of completion. But that's another conversation for a different episode. Whatever your timelines are for submitting your invoices and then following up, this is something that you can hand over to a VA if you don't have this as an automated process. And I'll even add here, because a lot of our invoices have automated follow-up, but sometimes those fall through the cracks as well. So having your VA just on top of that process, that automation, is a great task to hand over to them. All right, number 6, meeting preparation packets. So for each upcoming meeting, have your VA research attendees' backgrounds, company recent news. They can prepare a one-page brief document for you with talking points, questions to ask, and relevant materials to bring. This is really helpful, especially with attending, depending on the types of meetings, whether it's on in person, online. This is really helpful information to have someone pulled together. Or those really big conferences where you really want to be familiar with the person, or if you're on a panel, the other panelists. I'm sure that as I go through this one, you can think through multiple scenarios where this may be quite helpful. So I like the meeting preparation packets, having your VA prepare and help you pull together the information to prepare you for upcoming meetings, whether you're speaking on a panel or you're just attending a very busy conference, or maybe it's a small niche meeting and you want to make sure that you are familiar and prepared to, know the people in the room that will be in the room. Number 7, expense tracking and receipt organization. Give your VA access to photograph and categorize receipts, enter expenses into your accounting software or onto a spreadsheet, and provide weekly expense summaries by category. Now, I realize that a lot of expense tracking can be automated through apps, and depending on what relationship you have with your bookkeeper, you may have a system for keeping up with this already. But if you haven't gotten that organized, if you hadn't progressed to that point, then having your VA help you organize your receipts and expense tracking is valuable. they will likely come with some background in this and have some suggestions on how you can create a nice process and procedure for your business. Number 8, content research and outlining. So provide your VA with, say, 3 to 5 blog topics every month and have them research each topic. They can create detailed outlines and key points, statistics, and suggested resources, leaving you to just write and finalize the content. This is such an incredible time saver and a valuable resource or task to hand off to a VA, because you'll be surprised what they return back with. And if you work with them, sometimes at the beginning, they may not understand exactly, and they may return something that you feel frustrates you, or maybe you've already tried this before and you think, oh, they're not, have to do more work when they give it back to me. I think of that as an opportunity for you to kind of sharpen your communication skills in the aspect of letting them know what you need. And maybe it's not as clear, and helping you to articulate what you need from them or what you're looking for. But this is a great tool to hand over, this is a great task to hand over to a VA, having them do some of that initial planning and work. So for example, if you need maybe 5 talking points for your presentation or what you're planning to do or your content, maybe ask them for 10 so that you can narrow down your 5 favorite out of that. And then have them create, like I said, those detailed outlines or key points, or pulling in the statistics that you need. This is a great task to hand over to a VA. Number 9, CRM data entry and updates. So depending on the tool that you're using for your CRM client, I think it's client resource management, but how you're keeping up with your clients, data entry and updates. So have and this may be elaborate software that you're already using, or it could be a simple spreadsheet. I've talked about that on previous episodes. It's whatever you're using, but you can have your VA input new contacts from business cards or networking events. They can update existing client records with meeting notes and project status. And they can even send birthday or anniversary messages, if that's what you're doing, to help you maintain these relationships. Make sure that whatever you're doing feels authentic to you. So you're not having them send birthday messages and you're completely out of the loop. Maybe it's about reminding you and helping you craft those messages or gifts, whatever it is that you're doing. So just make this authentic and feel right for you, but you can have your VA help you to get that out. So maybe your intention is to send these messages and you really want some help to do this. They can help you ahead of time by crafting those. You said, oh yes, you approve it, and then you make sure that they go out. The VA's job is really to make sure it gets done and to relieve it, from you. It doesn't mean that you're not kept in the loop or they're just writing everything for you and you have no idea what's going on. So just keep that in mind. I just sense that some of you are worried about that part. But the point here is that your VA can help you with keeping up with your clients, your contacts. We've all been to those conferences, meetings where we collect business cards and we intend to follow up, but we want to input those into whatever system we're using. And sometimes they just get stuck on the desk, or they stay in that conference tote bag and they get stuck in a closet or a drawer, and you don't even notice it again until you're preparing to go to the next conference and you open up your materials or your bag and there they are. So having a VA help you with this information and keeping things up to date, the data entry and the client management system is a valuable task. All right. So here's number 10, travel booking and itinerary creation. So if you do any amount of traveling, then you can already feel the relief coming from this one. When you need to travel, give your VA your preferences. The airline of choice, hotel chain you like to use, your budget range, and have them research options. They can book everything and create a detailed itinerary with confirmations, addresses, and contact numbers. This can be incredibly valuable, and you can feel so supported by having this level of support from your VA. And the right VA really will, if they enjoy doing this and they're experienced with this, they're really good at it. Once they understand what your preferences are. For example, when you fly, do you have a preference for the airline? Do you have a preference for seating? In my business, we do have a preference for a hotel chain because we try to, reserve all of our activities and with one so that we can maximize the points and reward system that they have. So when we host our events, And whenever we travel and stay, we have a number one choice and then a number two choice if our primary one is not, just have availability where we're going. So start with just 2 or 3 of these tasks and create simple checklists or templates for each one, and gradually add more as your VA proves reliable with the initial responsibilities. The secret to virtual assistant success isn't finding someone who can do everything. It's finding someone who can excel at these foundational tasks that currently drain your energy and your time. Start by selecting just 2 or 3 from the list I just shared and create simple standard operating procedures for each. And gradually expand your VA's responsibilities as you both build confidence and trust. Remember, every hour your virtual assistant handles these routine but essential tasks is an hour you can spend on business development, client relationships, and strategic planning. The goal isn't just to get things off your plate. It's to create the space and mental bandwidth you need to scale your business beyond what you can accomplish alone. If you need guidance and support to help you apply these strategies that I've shared on this episode today, then I invite you to explore the opportunities to work together, either one-on-one or in our mastermind group program. As someone who understands the unique challenges of being an interdisciplinary leader, I can help you customize your strategic next steps. Visit publichealthentrepreneurs.com to learn more. Links are also provided in the show notes. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Visit publichealthentrepreneurs.com to learn more.